in 5, 4, 3. Live from the internet, this is the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. This is episode 59, recorded on June 20th, 2019. I am your host, Mark, and I am joined, as always, by my good friend and yours, Mino Spellgood. How you doing, Mino?
Good evening, Mark. You sound like you're in good spirits. You're on vacation, right? How's that going?
I am on vacation. And I just spent a couple days with my good friend in South Dakota. And then the family and I are going to be headed to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for a while and stop and see one of my other good friends on the way there as well. So I am at home at the moment in between little trips, but had a good time. And on the way back, I was saying before the show started, I downloaded some early episodes of the Crystal Chronicles Season 2, the Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia season, and enjoyed listening to some of those, including your first episode, Mino. So,
oh my God. So how was it looking back? Was it
pretty good? I feel like we started off really strong, and it was fun listening to that first episode, talking about all the mechanics of the game, and even some speculation through the episodes about what was going on and what was going to happen down the line. So we were pretty accurate, and some good predictions.
So the episodes held up. That's really good to hear.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think I'll revisit sometime, like you said.
Yeah.
Maybe when I take my vacation soon, I'll download a couple episodes while I'm doing chores or working or something. That sounds like a good time.
And if you are online and you want to go on our website, tccpodcast.com, or you have iPhone or iPad, you can go onto the App Store, or you're on Google Play, or you're on Stitcher, SoundCloud, anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can download all of our podcasts from this season. This is the 59th, so there are 58 episodes out there. Some of them are more relevant than others, obviously, but I think it's some good conversation. Now, also joining us tonight is our friend Kreese, a.k.a. Zerank, also not on vacation. How you doing, Kreese?
Doing well this week. Hoping for a vacation soon myself, though.
Very, very good. And joining us is a special guest. She is the conductor of the Firion hype train, and her name is Aarolei. Aarolei, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm also actually on vacation right now.
Fancy.
And I've been working out, trying to get myself into shape because, I'm kind of needing to lose some weight. Been having that bad high blood pressure, whatever. Getting old stinks sometimes.
Getting old is not fun. Ask Firion and Cloud. They were feeling a little bit of, the rubber tire around the waist, just a little, loss of energy. Testosterone maybe dropped a little bit. But, hey, something just happened. They have a new lease on life. So everybody take care of yourself, and you might find yourself awakened and reworked in good spirits. So we are all together tonight to talk about a few things. But before we do, there is some news. We just minutes ago had the Reworks launch, and we're going to talk about that momentarily. And we will here in about 52 minutes have the second part of the summer festival. But until we do that, Kreese wanted us to know that we did complete the Summer Festival Part 1 Beat Back Challenge. So that was all of those free community rewards by collecting gold tokens in the co-op. So thank you, everybody, for coming together and doing those co-ops. We had to get a lot of gold tokens. We got tons of high shards. We got armor tokens. I think we got power stones. I think we may have gotten a weapon token. There was a lot of things, gems, tickets, through that. And so it's always a good time to start playing and encourage your friends to start playing as well to get those free rewards because they're just free. And if you've just started, maybe since the last time we did a beat back challenge, this will help you catch up with some of those high shards. I will say that I did cap for the second time on my yellow high shards. So I've wasted yellow high shards twice now, but no others, thankfully. Anyone else?
Yeah, I when the Ifrit event dropped, the Ifrit Ultimate event, I went through and awakened a lot of characters I'd been sitting on. So I actually have not had any issues with capping high shards for a little while. I'm kind of glad about that.
I have,
I'm
most
getting
certainly.
I'm getting a little close. I'm at the point where I have more high shards than regular crystals now, but whatever.
I'm running out of characters that have gear to awaken.
Oh, I've awakened characters that have no gear. It happens sometimes.
I think I awakened Cater because he's capping on yellows.
I
Like,
think my cater is 60-62.
yeah, I was like, I don't really care who I awaken at this point anymore. I just need to get rid of high shards. But I'm grateful. And double cycles are here, so theoretically I could farm that if I wanted to. But I'm waiting for the 70 awakenings, guys, because word is that once they get the level 70 cycle quests, crystals are much, much, much easier to farm.
And eventually we will get high shards in the Dissidia shop.
That's I think that's a yeah, and
Uh,
regular crystals too. So you have
eventually.
something to do with your.
Yeah.
But so it's the 70 awakening, which is what 2-3 months tops. I don't need to farm cycles for now. Forget it. I'll just do as the minimum to get the new characters up.
Yeah, I do not have my lower tier crystals maxed. I figured if I need them, I usually have enough to awaken somebody fully, but it is a double crystal farming time, so if you do have the time, not a bad time to level them up, but
Well, to just add something, our own Quetzalma, I remember, I think, likes to max the crystals,
yeah.
and just like the problem I had with Gil, he has a lot of trouble accepting mission rewards because of it. So I don't think it's all rainbows and sunshines if you want to stock up on crystals.
Yeah, but you should at least have a stash so you can awaken someone or get someone's crystal level up when they arrive, rather than have to go, oh, I need to go farm this crystal cycle before I can use this character.
I do that as the characters drop. I think it's a max of like half an hour to an hour, which I'm okay with.
I always try to keep around 2,000 ish because of that. Because I hate having to cycle farm in. I don't know, man. When the character I need now, I want them now. I'm not patient.
Yeah, I think that's a good amount to have, especially for those. What are they called? Crystal clusters. Is that the third tier? That's a good amount to have. That couple thousand. Then you can awaken somebody without an issue. Some news. We did get a second half of June Chocobo panel mission. So currently there are 2 Chocobo missions. The monthly mission, late June, and the June Summer 1. Now, perhaps tonight we will get a June Summer 2, and then we'll have 3. But we just got the late June monthly missions. Kreese wanted to remind you all that Golbez is part of that. So you have to clear 25 quests with Golbez in your party. Golbez event leaves tonight, so if you have not played that for some reason and did not get Golbez, make sure you grab him quickly so that you can get your 2 tickets and complete your board. You get 5 more tickets for completing that board, and of course lots of gems for each of those. So thankfully, I am, except for the login 8 days, I have completed both of the current boards. How is everybody else doing on your Chocobo panel missions?
I, as of today, am done with the first summer festival board. And I also wanted to make sure that the Golbez thing was mentioned because this is the first time an event character that's time limited and goes away has been put on one of the mission boards. So for players listening to the podcast later that maybe don't go and do character events right away, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm almost done with the Chocobo board. I need to do the missions with Kefka and Golbez still. So I was just going to farm some cycle quests and get it out of the way.
Yeah, the one is 50 quests with Kefka, which seemed, because Kefka had been out for a while. It seemed like a lot of things you had to bring Kefka to. Thankfully, Kefka, even without his gear, but with his gear, is pretty good at cycle quest farming and farming like that. Whether you're paying attention or not, he does do AoE now with his Light of Judgment, or whatever that's talking about. All right. Well, that brings us to our first big topic, which is the event or the new Lost chapter that we got earlier this week. Lenna's Lost chapter, A Devoted Heart. Now, that brought us, of course, Lenna permanently, if you did not get her before, her Lost chapter with normal and hard missions, special missions along the way, and, of course, Lenna's Awakening and EX. So please, Kreese, if you will take it away and tell us about Lenna.
Sure, I'll talk about Lenna's Awakening. Major thing is she gets the usual things you'd expect from an Awakening. She gets one crystal passive that raises her max brave and speed while she's buffed. She has a party aura now that raises the party's max brave and attack while buffed. For rapid fire now gets mastered after one use instead of two, so that's a pretty nice boost. It applies a max brave up and attack up buff to her even on the unmastered version, and she gets stronger versions of them with rapid fire plus. And it also gets an HP attack with rapid fire plus. Second ability, Windrake Arrow, gets a brave hit with both versions of it, so it triggers a brave hit after it raises the party's initial brave and extends the duration of Windrake's ward to a total of 6 turns, raises the brave gain for the party battery, and also gives her access to a brave attack plus, which raises the party's brave based on Lenna's initial brave. And finally, she gets an EX ability, which is on a slow recast. It's a larger party battery attack that also is an AoE range and AoE HP attack. The big thing, though, is that it provides her with the buff Princess of Tycoon, which I have checked now in game. I need to actually fix it in my analysis. It provides a party aura of int brave increase and also a party brave regen. I thought it was a self brave regen, but I was mistaken. So Lenna becomes a much bigger party battery. She still has one of the strongest HP regens in the game at 20% per turn, 20% max HP per turn. So that's pretty nice. Again, 100% debuff evasion on Windrake's ward. So she is amazing if you're dealing with something like a Marlboro that can, that can inflict a lot of debuffs, or her boss that inflicts a lot of debuffs to the party.
Well, did everybody pull on Lenna?
I think we all did. 15K for me. How about you guys?
You lucky son of a gun.
I was due for this luck. But let's see if it continues. I mean, because of this luck, I might pull on Renoa, who I was planning on skipping. It's a bad call though, because I started planning out my pulls this week like Mark does. Mark is, for anyone who doesn't know, I think he said he planned his pulls for the rest of the year. So I tried to do that. I don't know how Mark does it because it's so frustrating. It's like, oh, I can only afford to pity one character every month and a half. So it's either I only pull like 3-4 times the rest of this year, or you get lucky and your RNG is going to determine your plans, Mark. So like I don't know what extras you're going to pick up if you get lucky. And I should be saving because I know in August, I want 3 EXs from there. I might have to cut back, but I think I might pull for Renoa now because I got it super early.
It took me 60,000 gems to get Lenna's EX, so I was on the other end of the spectrum. Not quite pity, but getting close.
Well, Kreese, that's also about time because you've been getting a lot of ticket EXs too.
I've been getting a lot of ticket EXs, but Cujo is also very expensive for me. So 2 of the EXs I wanted, or the 2 EXs I wanted for the last 2 months, have been very expensive for me.
I think you're still at over double my EXs. I'm at 10 now.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Arrow, how many resources did it take for you?
It was pretty standard for me, 3 multis, and I got it. But remember, I spent last year 45K on this banner and did not get King 35 CP. I was devastated at the time because I was so hyped for him. Like I had been hyped for him for months. Some people might even remember that.
So did you get Kane 30 or Kane? Did you get King's 35 now, or did you have it before? Since then?
I actually pulled it during those anniversary tokens. I picked him and Edge.
Nice. It took me. I got the EX in the 20,000th gem, or the 4th multi-pull, and then I pulled one more and got her 35 because I did not pull on this banner the first time. So I got 1 copy of her 35, 1 copy of her EX, and 3 copies of her 15. So I
guess I
Sorry,
I guess I should highlight that while it did take me 60k gems to get Lenna's EX, I did get 3 copies of it on that multi-pull.
Yes, please highlight, because that was a beautiful pull. Obviously
it would have been more beautiful
yeah,
if it wasn't
right.
60k gems in, but it was still a nice pull.
Mark, you didn't pull on this banner the first time around? Were you able to complete it?
I did not pull on this banner the first time around. I only had Lenna's bow.
But were you able to complete the event the first time around?
Yeah.
What team did you use again? Just
I have no
quick
idea.
reminder.
Did we have Sephiroth by then?
We did.
Yeah, so I brought Sephiroth, I'm sure.
Okay.
That helped.
Because I'm saying, like, when I was butting my head against it, I could only do it once I got my own 35 for Lenna.
Well,
Took me 75k, no, 70k gems.
Go back and listen to that episode and tell me what team I used. Ito is saying I used Zaz, Sephiroth, and Tidus. I probably used something very similar. So.
Oh, that's a good group, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That's a ton of speed down, so I could see it happen.
I did listen to the Zaz, the Notorious Zaz episode, when Zaz, because we did a special episode because we hadn't had an episode planned, and then they released Zaz. And so I did recommend to everyone during that episode, if you have any gems, pull on that banner for Zaz. So that's like the only time I've ever encouraged people to pull, regardless of what they had, to try to get a weapon.
Right. Makes sense. I was right. That was a free pull too, so
it
was pretty.
The first one was free.
Yeah.
So did we hit what her EX does? We did do that, right?
I did touch on her EX. Okay. It's a party battery plus self buff. That's a party buff aura, and it's also an AoE brave plus HP attack.
So did you want to talk about teammates, parties, ability rotation?
Let's let our guest do it. Aero, you have some thoughts on new Lenna?
I love new Lenna, but right now I haven't had much time to play with her because there's just nothing really difficult. But I did do a for fun video with her and Penelo, and that region was something else. So if you're really into Brave region stuff, you can have a lot of fun. So I recommend FF2 characters. Honestly, it's pretty crazy.
Mark, any further thoughts on that?
It's funny because at this point, I really, my super DPS right now is Kuja, because I didn't get Golbez, and who else is there? I have Onion Knight. So it will be interesting once Renoa comes, because that's who I'm really looking forward with pairing her with. But I've been bringing basically Lenna as a support with 2 utility characters like Vanille and Kistis, and doing stuff. That's what I brought for this actual event. I brought Kistis, Vanille, and Lenna, and having a lot of fun. But, she does a lot of things, and she does decent damage.
Honestly,
but she brings a lot of utility and a lot of different options. So there's tons of different teams.
I think with the current difficulty of content we have right now, Lenna really slots into any team where you just need a support or a character. You can bring her Int Brave down debuff, which I forgot to mention did get improved. It can get even stronger now. You can stack it pretty high on enemies, and that's always nice to make it easier to break them again. She just does a lot right now. She does decent Brave Shave. She does decent battery. She does amazing healing. It's just a little bit of everything she can do. So she doesn't really have too many limitations on what party she can go into.
I couldn't agree more. I think Lenna. I'm going to compare Lenna to Selfie when we got it, which is basically a lot of these future characters really, really benefit from their support. This is what I think. I know Monta strongly disagrees with me, but I feel like when Selfie came out, by herself and with that the current roster when she came out, she wasn't that great. That's my opinion. Monta completely disagrees with me. I'm gonna say the same with Lenna. Right now, she's a great support, obviously, but like Arrow said, content's not hard enough to really warrant it yet. So I can see why a lot of people passed on Lenna and JP because they thought it was unnecessary, and I can completely see why. But I know that because we have that foresight, we know that a lot of units coming up really, really, really love Lenna because HP conditional, I mean Brave conditionals for the HP attacks. Tons of characters are getting those, and Lenna's Brave regen is perfect for setting that up. Or when Cosmos comes and HP damage becomes more frequent, of course you want those strong heals, and heals over time are the best types of heals because it's fire and forget. You put it on and you're good for a couple of rounds instead of having to reactively heal. It heals on its own. And also, go.
Sorry, I just want to highlight that a lot of characters have a lot of that set and forget HP regen healing. Lenna's is just actually strong enough that it can compete with burst healing too.
Yes.
The low HP regen of like Eiko or Beatrix does not compare to this. Oh my god. There's a lot of HP regen every turn with Lenna's Windrake Ward.
Yeah. And the last thing I was going to say is that the next 2 months of characters, maybe even more, insanely benefit from Lenna. Like, because we have this future sight, GL is so hyped over Lenna, JP was definitely not. Because all the characters coming in the next 2 months have some sort of Brave regen or really benefit from overhealing. Because tonight we're getting Cloud and Firion reworks. Cloud gives himself a huge Brave regen by himself, right? I want to say his EX, his that buff that he gives himself, like
I think it's 80% of his int brave. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's 80% of his int brave. Lenna further buffs that by like what, another 60,
I was
80%
wrong,
or something?
It's 150% of his int brave.
Yeah, it's 150% of his int brave, and Lenna has like a 40% aura and then another 40% buff and some other stuff. So basically, Cloud has a huge Brave regen. Lenna is over double and giving him additional regen on top of it. And then you have Firion, who not only also has Brave regen. I think he something skills off Brave. If not, he has that magic passive that now any overheal he gets is multiplied by 2 and added to his Brave. And Lenna has fat heals. And then you've got Jekt coming up, who has 160% Brave regen and his own Brave buffs. Lenna is going to push that too. And then there's more and more characters coming next month and the month after that have their own Brave regens, rely heavily on Brave, and some of them can even take the overheal for more. So knowing that with our future sight, Lenna is just an insane support for at least 2-3 months tops. Oh, and also just further down the line, there are a few Cosmos fights, some of the more difficult ones, where there's debuff heavy enemies, just like Lenna's event. Infamously, the Pain Cosmos fight, you can just cheese with the debuff immunity. So
yeah,
I
let's
think
not forget that Lenna's big thing is she gives debuff immunity, which is super helpful when you need it. Like, if you don't need it, you won't even think about it. If you do need it, it's super helpful. Like,
so I believe her aura is Brave and M Brave, right? Which means
her aura is attack and max brave, and then her EX buff is int brave.
So basically, she makes every battery in the game stronger because people either battery off attack, Brave, or M Brave. That's it. So she makes every battery stronger, every Brave regen stronger, and so I think she's really strong. And I'm not gonna ever say a character is needed, but I think you can't go wrong with Lenna, honestly.
I think Lenna is one of those characters that will make content easier for a good while and will be a notch in your belt that you want to have. It's a tool you can pull out and use when you're coming up against something that's difficult to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just to put it into context too, the next character that gets debuff immunity does not come with EX, and it's Aphmau way in the future.
Oh yeah, and also to put it in context, once we get that Cosmos power creep, it's going to be like what JP players are saying chaos is now. A lot of characters DPS just cannot keep up. So if you have that constant bravery gen, it's going to go a lot farther than you think.
So Lenna's LC is like every LC. You have a normal mode and a hard mode. The level 100, it would be a Devoted Heart Part 14, is the most difficult of those battles. And in it, you fight you fight 5 waves. One of those waves has a red dragon and blue dragon. And then the final wave has 2 savage drakes. They are very susceptible to Int Brave Down debuffs. They are resistant to Max Brave Down and Poison. They are weak to ice and water, and they resist lightning. These guys also do really big debuffs to you, including poison, attack down, speed down. Is there anything else? They do like half their attacks are poison, yeah, attack down and speed down and several other things. So they can be pretty nasty. And if you remember how many ever months ago when we had this event, this was a challenging time for the global base of DFFOO with this fight and Sephiroth's fight, and there was a couple others in there that were fairly tricky that caused a lot of people a lot of grief. Now, all of us have Lenna, so we brought Lenna, I'm sure, to this event. I certainly did not find it difficult. I think I beat it on my initial run without any issue. And I brought... Really? That's what I brought? That can't be right. Yeah, I did a couple different runs. My very first run was Vanille, Kistis, and Lenna. And I went back and did Onion Knight, Kuja, and Lenna. Of course, that second one I got many, many, many more points. But yeah, both under 50 turns fairly easily. Didn't have any issue with that. With Lenna, it's not an issue at all. Did any of you have any issues with this? And did someone not use Lenna? Someone listening on Twitch, if you don't have Lenna, what did you use to take on this content? But everybody else on stream, what did you guys think?
I think we all used Lenna, unless Aarolei did some challenge runs. But apparently there were a lot of early submissions to Macnul's Call to Arms threads.
Yeah.
And it seems like Kefka and Agrius were very popular for cheesing the fight as well. It was super difficult for us when it dropped in GL early because we just didn't have the roster to deal with it. But when it dropped in JP, it was not a big deal because you got Kefka with the HP silence, you have Agrius with the silence, you have Selfie has a 60% debuff evasion. Warrior, well, no one's using Warrior of Light. But the point is, the roster is a lot beefier now with a lot more alternatives to just using Lenna. So it's a lot more lenient.
Yeah, I think I brought Kefka to this fight, and the HP silences on those charge attacks were amazing. I think in total, both dragons on my completion did 1 attack throughout the entire battle. It was just hilarious how much Kefka shuts them down.
Oh, Slide in chat is saying, did no one use Yuffie? I didn't even think about that. I always forget Yuffie exists, but of course she probably would have been amazing in this fight with her awakening.
Yeah. Yeah, Aarolei says someone did use Yuffie in the score requirements. I do not have Macnol's Call to Arms. If you are struggling with this, of course, you can always go on Reddit and check out our friend Macnol, Macnol, and he always puts a call to arms and then compiles that into a video guide. So there, Macnol says, of course, Kem used Yuffie. Kem Smith, our Yuffie player, is always recording runs with Yuffie if Yuffie is viable, or even if not, and just fun. Anyway, so yeah, so lots of different options I see people using. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we move on, Arrow, did you do any non-Lenna runs?
I did. I did My first run, though, just to say, I love Ramza, so of course I did Lenna, Ramza, and I just threw Onion Knight on there just because I just wanted to get it done and over with. But I wanted to do a non-Lenna run, so I did Pinello. I did my Pitch Heretics team, Pinello, Onion Knight, and Palom again, and it was super duper easy and a blast.
Yeah, Palom's a great choice with the ice weakness, right?
And Onion Knight. I keep forgetting these bosses are weak.
Yeah, the bosses
Palom,
are weak to ice.
Yeah, he was. And Palom was doing really good damage. It doesn't even matter if he runs out of skills. You just double cast and you still do like 13, 14K anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, and you were using, on that run, did you say you were using, oh no, you're using Pinello as your support. Okay. So yeah, I mean.
And yeah, with Pinello as support, you get the really good regen anyway, the more generic buff, which is really fun to pair with Lenna because of the the frame buff, of course.
Pinello hype a year from now, 8 months from now. We'll all be using Pinello. No, we'll see.
I think she's having a moment right now before Cosmos drops because, well, it's kind of off topic, but yeah, I mean, just because a lot of the characters that people want to use, they don't give themselves too many generic buffs, and Pinello gives you a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah, Harith29 says they used Kefka, Y'shtola, and Bartz. Aminosa said, I did full synergy like I did back in the event. So, yes, you can certainly get away with full synergy, especially if you have the EX. And if you have Ramza's EX, of course, you're going to use Ramza as well. Anything else about Lenna? Lenna LC? Lenna's great. I think she's going to get great as we have two new characters. Well, as we have two reworks tonight that are both going to pair very well with Lenna, as we just said, Cloud and Firion, as we're going to get hopefully a new character, Renoa, who's going to pair really well with Lenna, and there's going to be other characters coming. So.
Right, I forgot to mention Renoa needs the heals because she does HP damage to herself, and she has a Brave regen that also benefits off the Eye Brave. So basically, every new character coming in the next 2 months could use Lenna.
No one's going to, I mean, most characters are going to be helpful, are going to be helped by Lenna for sure. So if you pulled her, congratulations. If you're thinking about it, it's a good thing to think about it. If you're not, then that's okay too. Well, that moves us into tonight. In 23 minutes, we are going to expect, or that's what the calendar says, Summer Festival Part 2. Well, we don't exactly know what Summer Festival Part 2 is going to bring us. Summer Festival Part 1 brought us Catalyst, Rising, and Pitch missions and co-op and a co-op shop. So perhaps Summer Festival Part 2 will do the same thing. Perhaps it will bring something else. We do not know as of right now. When it hits here in 23 minutes, we'll talk about it. But what we do know is that tonight we got, just 37 minutes ago, 2 character reworks, and these are significant reworks for these 2 characters. So we want to talk about them. We were prepared to talk about them. Kreese was just a little anxious that maybe they were going to trip us up and do something different, but they didn't. Cloud and Firion both have their reworks. So let's take some time and let's walk through. I already looked through Kreese's full evaluation is already on Reddit, so you can check that out. Kreese, a.k.a. Zerink, Xerink, Zerink on Reddit. Check out his analysis of Cloud and Firion. But we're going to talk about them right now. They're already, if you go in-game, you can see it on Twitter. They've already shared those a while, and there's just a lot to cover with these 2 reworks. So I'll give it to Kreese to talk about Cloud, and then we'll talk about more from there. So let's start with Cloud.
Yeah, sure. Let me just quote something from my analysis to open this up. Quote, there is a reason Cloud is believed to be Square Enix's golden boy by the community. Whenever he starts to fall too far behind in current content, Cloud gains some improvements to make him strong again. It happened when he received his 35 CP weapon, his initial awakening, and his EX weapon. With his awakening rework, he once again rises to the top. And I think that's a nice way to open this up. His passives were completely changed from being not good to being really good. He gets the basic stuff. One of his crystal passives raises his attack and speed while buffed. The other one raises his max brave and attack further after doing what we typically call a launch, but it's a knockback in GL terms. Along with that, cross slash and finishing touch have both been improved pretty markedly. And they kind of drive home Cloud's new niche. Cloud is now a critical attacker. He gets some self brave battery on both cross slash and finishing touch, and they both do a lot more damage when Cloud deals critical hits. He also gains a nice amount of brave overflow with both abilities. Finishing touch now has an HP attack attached to it. Finishing touch's buffs are now stronger than they were before. They last longer. And along with all that, Cloud gets access to a brave plus and an HP plus attack. The HP plus can brave overflow. It deals more damage while critically hitting. The brave attack deals more damage when critically hitting. Oh my god, he does a lot of damage now. Sorry.
Yeah,
And
it's ridiculous.
in general,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's
the
just
amount of
crazy.
stuff.
And along with all of this, he still has his EX ability Meteor Rain, which despite its normal recast speed baseline, recharges really fast, does a lot of AoE damage, and also gives him the ridiculous Mako buff. So with his and one last thing, after using finishing touch, Cloud gets access to a cross slash plus for one ability for one use of cross slash that guarantees a paralyze debuff is inflicted, which means Cloud can now guarantee he will inflict paralyze when he needs to. So that's a pretty nice buff. He also gains some more ability uses to help even him out, so he doesn't run out as much as he used to.
So,
oh my god, he does so much damage now.
Robai, go ahead. I was
go
going to say thank you, Robai Solkin, for subscribing to our channel. If you are joining us online, feel free to like and subscribe. Follow us. Thank you for all of you who are. We appreciate it. I was just looking in the notice, the character adjustment, and under his level 54 passive change, there's a little asterisk, and it says, due to Cloud's increased turn rate as a result of the above change, the refill rate of his EX ability recast gauge through the usage of command abilities has been increased to maintain the EX ability's recast rate. So I'm not 100% sure what that means. Does that mean they adjusted stuff so his recast ability is the same, or that his now recast ability is faster?
Chris, go ahead. Did you want to?
Yeah, let me touch on this. So they did the same thing with Onion Knight. I think they did the same thing with Firion for this. What they did was they tweaked the EX recast speed so you won't notice a change based on the number of abilities Cloud will do. It still should feel like it recharges at the same rate, despite the fact he now moves faster.
No, you got it perfectly. I have nothing to add other than I don't remember if I talked about this on a previous show, but I know it was a big discussion in our Discord channel about how action delay and EX charges work. And it's EX, the only thing that charges the EX meter is action delay. So if you have moves that say, I forgot what the GL term is, like low action delay, fast action delay or something?
It's turn rate.
Oh, so was it faster turn rate, lower turn rate?
It's high turn rate, low turn rate, normal turn rate.
Got it. So abilities in GL that have high turn rate actually charge the EX less, and Brave and HP charge it less, and normal abilities have lower turn rate than Brave and HP. So what this means is, I remember the analogy we ended up using in our Discord server was that if you ever play any of those game series, you see all the ATB. You see all the turn orders on a bar that slowly slides. Faster characters slide faster along the bar, and a high turn rate would use the turn and move less back on the bar and come back faster, if that makes any sense. You can just search a video on YouTube of Grandia about it. And basically, turn rate is everything in an EX charge. That's all that matters. So if you are who are characters with really high turn rate abilities? Lightning. There you go. Lightning's EX charge is much slower if you're constantly getting those breaks and whatever compared
It's
to
part of the reason that Lightning's EX charge has that fast charge rate baseline is because she has such a high turn rate on her abilities.
Yeah, so for example, Lightning is a fast charge. What is it? A slightly fast recharge, right?
GL term, I think, is fast.
Yeah. So in JP terms that we're used to, it's slightly fast. In GL terms, it's fast. Yet she takes 3 abilities to recharge her EX cast, whereas Cloud is normal and slightly fast in JP terms, and that's what is that in GL terms? Kreese, help me out here.
Cloud's normal right now.
Yeah, normal, but he only takes what he can do is EX every other. He only needs 1 ability to charge it because he's so slow and he has no quicker action delay that it charges that fast. So for those who don't know, this isn't like the summon bar. Launches and breaks, none of that affects it. It's all action delay. And the quicker the character, the slower the charge. That's why you'll have Zidane with a fast charge, but he'll still take 3 or 4 turns to do a charge. Cloud can still do it every other turn. So by adjusting it, they're making sure that Cloud still gets it roughly every other turn if you're using one of his abilities, because speeding up a character should not punish it, I think. If Cloud got the speed up and didn't adjust to it, he'd be getting his EX charged every 2 or 3 turns, which really punishes him because the whole point of Cloud's EX is to pad his abilities because he has less than most people.
Not anymore. He's up to 12 abilities total now.
Yeah, he got 3 extra ability uses total with the rework.
Arrow. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, how do we use new Cloud? He's got some new abilities, a Brave Plus, an HP Plus. Who would he pair well with? What are some options for Cloud?
Do you
moving forward
have any thoughts on that, Arrow?
It is so funny. They paired Firion to this banner. It is like a godsend because he has that eye brave. Well, we're going to get into that soon. But anyway, yeah, they're basically meant for each other.
So Firion, Cloud, Lenna, all in. Good times.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I would totally do that team. If you're a newbie or even just like an older player looking for a really good team to play, you can't go wrong with these 3 together.
I'll also touch on and say that Cloud now has enough finishing touch uses that you can actually use him as a launcher in a launch team or a battery team if you wanted. He won't be perfect for that, but the thing is he does so much damage on the side that I think it'll work out okay. He brings 4 guaranteed launches where he's dumping his Brave. He batteries himself so much through his Mako buff, plus any other batteries adding to that will just mean that he can rely on his HP plus as long as he wants.
Yeah. To further on, I mean, he's the best launcher now, without a question, maybe. I want to say Launch Met is dead, but we just saw it clear the last heretics for the last summer part 1, which is ridiculous. So, I mean, launches still help a lot. I still maintain he's a utility character because you want him for his launches and his paralyze. And guaranteed paralyze is a big deal. It's what is going to keep him viable for early Cosmos, is both the launches and the guaranteed paralyze, because paralyze is the strongest status effect we have. We've seen weaker versions come out after Cloud. We've seen Kefka's HP silence, which is great but does nothing for brave hits, and Agrius's regular silence, which is even worse and only works on magic HP attacks. But Cloud guaranteed paralysis is a big deal. And I want to play a pessimist here, and we keep seeing damage scale to a ridiculous degree every week or two. It was Kuja to Golbez to Cloud and Firion, and Renoa is going to knock them all out of the water. And the thing is, realistically, if we follow JP to a T, Cloud and Firion are the only reworks who are Cosmos viable, but even then, they were not top picks because the defense spiked so hard that even this damage, because I remember when this happened in JP, I think Xenon or somebody made a video on a Reddit post. You can search it. They showed Cloud doing 9999 damage on each Brave hit of Final Touch, and I think that's what 4 Brave hits. So when he came out, and then when Cosmos dropped, he actually did way worse damage than Renoa and Vayne. So I just want to warn people not to get fooled by this insane damage scaling we're still getting, because it's going to be short-lived. Same with Onion Knight and Ishtola, who only make the cut in niche teams as well.
Do we want to move? Oh, go ahead, Aarolei.
Oh, I guess one thing to think about though is because these two are iBrave characters, they do have a spot in certain teams, and that is something to consider if you're really into team building. I really think that this is a great banner if you don't have the items on it.
Yes, 100%. Because out of all the reworks, Cloud and Firion have the reputation for lasting longest, at least a handful of fights into Cosmos, because of their Brave regen that ignores defense. These old characters, once they hit Cosmos, are not going to be able to put out any damage. But like Aarolei just said, Cloud gets an insane regen, boosted with support characters. He doesn't need to shave. He's just going to get a ton of Brave every turn. He has the guaranteed paralysis, and he has the launch. And Firion is a battery on top of having insane Brave regen, and like a party heal as well on top of that, which we're going to get to. So these two will give you more bang for your buck than Ishtola and Onion Knight, who probably are going to be dead in 2 or 3 weeks. But so these are good characters to invest in. They honestly are.
Meteor Foreign says, or has a question which Kreese answered, but I think it bears repeating. I have a question about Cloud's World of Illusion weapon. Does its effect, which is removing a buff, a trigger with HP or Brave Plus? And I believe Kreese answered, it does require an ability to activate. So you have to use one of his actual abilities to trigger his World of Illusion weapon. Is that correct, Kreese?
That is correct. He must use either Cross Slash or Finishing Touch or Meteor Rain to activate it, and he must critically hit, I believe, in order for the Dispel to activate.
That is correct, and he does get some critical hit buffs, so it will be hitting more than it was, but no, it does not hit with Brave Plus or HP Plus, but that is a great question. Thank you very much. So do we want to talk about Firion and then kind of talk about the banner and, should you pull? But let's talk about Firion.
Yes.
So Kreese and Aarolei have the most to say on this. I literally
both of us have the kits for Firion already, but yeah, I'll go through his kit quickly and then let Aarolei talk about him.
Great.
Okay, so first thing, Firion's Crystal Strength 50 was also adjusted, Where the Wild Roses Bloom, which allows him to convert excess HP recovered into Brave. It used to be based on up to 150% of his initial Brave. It now goes up to 200% of his initial Brave, so he can regen Brave a little more easily based on HP regen. His first passive was completely changed. Instead of getting a moderate raise in his Int Brave after taking HP damage, he now gets a party aura that just raises party Int Brave and Max Brave while his HP is above 50%. This is a lot like Lillicet's and I think some of Selfie's auras, which means that it is active at the start of a fight. He does not need to worry about buffs or anything. So that's pretty awesome. He gets it active right away. He also gets another passive that raises his attack and speed while his HP is over 50%. Another nice one because he doesn't need to worry about activating it through to a buff or anything. He gets it right away. Blood Weapon has been changed a decent amount, gaining an ability use, gaining some Brave potency boosts, gaining Brave overflow. However, the big thing is he gets 2 major things with this. One is he gets a special buff for himself called Blood Weapon now. Blood Weapon is basically a no-nonsense buff that raises his attack and max brave while active for 6 turns. The nifty thing about Blood Weapon, though, is that while Blood Weapon is active, he gains access to a Brave Attack Plus, an HP Attack Plus, and also an empowered version of Seize Attack Plus, which I'll get to in a minute. He also can activate an empowered version of Blood Weapon by just being above 50% HP, where he just does more damage. So yeah, same sort of things as before. He just does more damage. He hits more times. Blood Weapon Plus is a 4-hit attack instead of a 2-hit attack. Seize attack has been improved. I think his buffs have not changed that he gives himself. The durations of those buffs are longer now. Seize attack plus and Seize attack plus Blood Sword, both, or Blood Weapon, sorry, I need to fix that, are now 3-hit ranged attacks. Still have the party battery associated to them that scale on his attack. He still gets his Brave Regen and Max Brave Up buffs. Except now it also triggers an HP attack, and the Seize attack plus Blood Weapon also heals his HP. As I said before, he has Brave Attack plus HP Attack plus. Brave Attack plus is a stronger attack that restores HP to himself based on Brave damage dealt, and also is a party battery, raising party Brave based on his attack. HP Attack plus also restores some of his HP and raises his own Brave based on attack before the HP attack. And he also still has his Weapon Master AoE Brave plus HP EX ability that does full damage to all targets. So that's another nifty thing. Basically, Firion now he basically recharges his HP with every ability, and because of his Crystal Strength 50, Whether Wild Roses Bloom, he, while at max health, is constantly restoring his own Brave at the end of every turn, which makes him harder to break than he otherwise would be. And he hits deceptively hard because one of his lower Crystal Strength passives, Mighty Blood Weapon, actually scales his damage by quite a bit, which is the reason I highlighted in my analysis. And in general, Firion is really strong. He Brave batteries on several abilities. He restores his own HP like crazy. He benefits from having max HP because of the Brave fill from HP overflow. He hits hard. He's just all around pretty strong now.
Aarolei, do you have any thoughts on practical applications for Firion? I know you're a big Firion fan, so I'm sure you've been planning for this for a long time.
I have been planning for this a very long time. I was told I was crazy back when Awakening Wave 1 came to even awaken him, but he carried me for like 2-3 months through content. It was kind of crazy. But what I like about Firion is he is such a team player, similar to like how Bart's is, where you just dump him on a team and it's like good to go. The Firion's turned into that 100% now. Like he already kind of had it before, but they really pushed him in this direction with the rework now.
Any potential partners you want to run with your Firion? Because you have the EX, so you're set.
Yes, I pulled for his EX back at Leon because I did not know how the reprint would happen or when it would happen. I wasn't in the mood to even risk it. I knew it was right there. I didn't mind the idea of getting Leon, so I pulled for it then. But I am going to run him with Lenna. I plan Freya in the future for fun. Probably Pinello, Bartz, Quistis, Vanille, some of the other new characters I've gotten recently.
So Final
nice.
Character 7 is asking on Twitch, and this is not a question I can answer because I only have his 15 CP weapon, not Max Limit Broke, even with my beautiful Firion t-shirt that I'm wearing tonight. Ideally, Firion should start with Blood Weapon, or does it depend on the situation? That is Final Character 7's question. So what are, Kreese, Aarolei, what are your suggestions for turn order for Firion?
I would say that he probably wants to start with Blood Weapon first to get the Blood Weapon buff up, so he gets access to Brave plus, HP plus, and Seize attack Blood Weapon, which means he's always HP regenning on whatever he does, which means he's always giving himself Brave on whatever he does. So I'd say that's probably the smart move, is the first ability use.
I don't know. I kind of want to argue for the other thing. I always opened with Seize attack. I still feel like that's the right thing because, you get the Embrave boost and the initial regen to start, then go into Blood Weapon and go from there.
So
yeah, I think I agree with you. Before this rework, I was definitely using C's attack plus always first to get his buffs up, but I think with the blood weapon buff the way it is, you want that active so that Firion can always be regenning health, when thus regenning brave.
So there you go, final character 7. The answer is to flip a coin or pick it random.
Just
Mark,
try,
do you have any thoughts on Firion before we move on?
I'm not even sure if my Firion is awakened, let alone.
Wait, so one more question for Kreese and Aarolei. Slide is asking, how would you use a Firion support?
Seize attack first, then use the EX, because once you've used the EX, it only takes like 2 skill uses after that, so you might be able to get a second cast off before he's gone.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Unawakened glory. Oh, I'm in the wrong one here.
All right, good. We have a consensus here. I will say that I was actually very excited for Firion, but plans changed, and I'm not counting on getting him because we are speculating what the combo of the summer banners would be. And I was if Firion came with anyone other than Cloud, I would have pulled. But since I have Cloud, this is a risky pull for me. So
You'll still get the free pull.
Yeah, but I'm not planning on getting him basically.
So we do have a banner as of right now. There's also a new Chocobo up. Hate 13 is telling us, so I'll go over that here in a second. But the current banner, which has the 2 characters we've been talking about, Cloud and Firion, with all 3 of their weapons. So you have Firion EX, Cloud EX. You also have Cyphers 15 and 35 CP. So is this a good banner to pull on? Why would you pull on this banner, or if how do I want to say it? Like, what reasons would you pull on this banner?
What's the selling point of this banner?
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Mino.
Okay. I'll give my novice view, and then Kreese and Aarolei, who always do way more research than me, can weigh in on their expert opinion. But I will say that if you don't have Cloud or Firion, I think it is a good pull because both of these characters have been proven to carry into the Cosmos era, and they're among the first. I think Kefka is the first character to safely do the first 2 Cosmoses, and then everyone after him can carry in. And Cloud and Firion, most people, if you're a veteran player, you already have some of their kit. So if you get either of their EXs on this first double is this the first double EX banner we've had in GL?
This is the second.
We had the one last week.
Had one last week.
You know, not counting the summer, but this is the second double EX banner we've had with the best odds we've seen, that with both characters able to hold their own in early Cosmos fights when the power creep shifts again. So in my opinion, if you don't have either of these, this is a good banner you should pull and get at least one of them.
I just shared my free pull on my camera, and people are being sad for me. But first of all, I got 8 3-stars, which is terrible, or 9 3-stars, right? Because there's 11.
Yeah.
I got 9 3-stars, 1 4-star, and Firion 35. So I didn't have, Yanakai is saying used my free pull and got a Cloud EX. So Yanakai, congratulations. Hopefully you didn't have Cloud EX and now you do. So among the hosts right now, among the 4 of us, who has these EXs and who doesn't? I don't have. Well, now I have Firion's 35. I don't have Firion EX. I have Cloud fully limit broke all of his stuff. Where are you guys sitting before this banner?
I've got Cloud EX. I'll do a free pull, but I was actually you jumped. I was gonna say let's all pull at the end of the show here, but no, you did good. I'm gonna wait till to pull though. Kreese?
I have Firion and Cloud both MLB. I got Cloud's EX when it first came around. It took a bit of gem pulling. I lucked into Firion's EX while ticketing that banner, and I just did my free multi-pull. Got a Cloud 35, a Cloud 15, and a Cypher 35. So 2 Power Stones and a limit break for Cypher.
All right, I guess we're all drawing then. Aarolei?
I did
What
a
do you have?
poll. I did a poll, and but I'll get to that.
Okay,
But-
we're all pulling
but,
now.
I already have Firion. I only have Cypher's 15, and I have the base kit for Cloud. I did not get Cloud EX on my free pull. Just so you guys know, I did not luck suck this time. It was a 111 Cypher 15. That's my luck. But hey, I'm not too upset. I don't really need much off this banner. I got the main guy I wanted.
Okay, well, for me, so the last time I pulled on the free pull for the Summer Banner Part 1, I got 111, and my 1 gold was Squall 15. Fitting that this time I got 111 and is Cypher 15.
There you go.
That works out pretty beautifully, I think.
Yeah, that's very thematic.
I didn't get a chance to answer the question before about should you pull on this banner. I think this banner is very good. 1, because it's a double EX banner. 2, because both these characters that get the EXs are both solid characters for different reasons. Cloud being a very strong DPS utility character, Firion being a strong... Actually, they're both DPS utility characters. They're just different types of utility. Both of them being very strong DPS utility characters for different reasons. And Cypher, he was a late awakening character. I know he's not popular, but he's still pretty strong at what he does, which is a lot of AoE damage, inflicting some special debuffs. And so none of the characters on this are bad. It's definitely worth... if you don't have either EX weapon, I would suggest trying to go for one of them, unless you're out of gems or you just don't like the characters.
So a couple of new things that got added along with that banner that we've been talking about. There is a new festive gem sale. It is the same as the last festive gem sale. So if you didn't get those or you got those and you want more, armor tokens, feathers, all that kind of stuff, power stones at the end with your regular sale. We also got Cloud's costume again, the Cloudy Wolf costume. So if you didn't get his Advent Children costume, you can get it now. If you got it and you want to buy it again for some reason, now you can. I remind you, if you do buy it and you already own it, basically all you get is 9,000 gems. So not really worth it to buy it again. Buy one of the festive gem sale packages. We also got a new Chocobo panel and new Heretic quest. So there is going to be more things to do. I'm trying to pull up the Chocobo panel right now. The new Chocobo panel is going to have... Oh, come on, connecting. It's going to have stuff. So,
well,
I got it. It's got gems.
Okay.
It's got a power stone. It's got... These are for the clear rewards. 5 tickets. The last 3 lines are 200 gems instead of 100 gems. You have yellow, black, and white high shards. You have 500 gems, 5 tokens, 5 books of treasure, 3 weapon tokens, and then 50 and 50 of your enhanced materials. You're going to need to use 50 quests with Lenna, 50 co-ops. Oh, Mino, you're going to love that. Enhance an artifact, Cloud, Firion, both 25. Defeat 20 Gaily... the stupid flying cats. Gaily cats. Log in, of course, 8 days. Use support item. Defeat 20 bombs. So those are the panels for that. Yes, some people are struggling with that. And Harith is saying the costume does not come with the Buster Sword this time around. Is that correct?
No, not this time.
Okay.
It is only the costume
Ouch.
this time. So if you did not get the costume bundle the first time with Cloud's NT Buster Sword,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're not getting it this time.
That's rough for those of you who weren't able to pick that up. So, but
I will mention
It's
that
awesome
along with the Heretic quest, we get a new co-op. We get the same sort of batch of Heretic quests where there's an easy version, a harder version with a co-op at the end, and then a very hard version, Pitch, which is solo only. We also got a new set of beatback challenges to go with this
Oh.
co-op.
good.
Oh, nice.
A whole new token exchange shop for
Yeah.
this co-op,
separate
with all
token
sorts of
exchange.
gems, tickets, and everything that we expect. So yeah, and Lenna is also a boosted character for this, so expect to see a lot of Lennas.
Nice.
Yeah, so the
nice.
boosted characters are Lenna Selfie, Lenna, Cloud, Firion, and Cypher, correct?
Correct.
So you can bring those to all of those heretics. We may not have a podcast next week, so just in case you don't know how those work, if you have the synergy characters, you can repeat. If not, then it's like a non-synergy heretic where you have to bring different things to different battles. So
Same
lots
as
of new
before,
stuff.
we have idojas that can come from the co-op. Sorry to cut you
Yes.
off again.
No.
And there's also a new World of Illusion that at the highest tier can also get idojas for Cypher, Cloud, and Firion.
Do not forget to get those World of Illusions. And also do not forget to spend your tokens in shops if you have a whole bunch of extra ones. So be sure to spend them before they leave. So our host discussion tonight, a couple things. The first question is, how do you decide who to include in your team? So this is a team building question. We thought this was a good question with Aarolei here because she has a very good sense of how you build around characters and how you build good teams. So do we want to talk, or let's talk just for a little bit about how do you go about building a good team for DFFOO? And Aarolei, if you would start, please feel free.
I don't know. There's a lot of things that go into it. So it's a broad question. So I guess we can break it down to discussion some. But one thing I always look at is the boss. I do actually read what the boss does before I go thinking up what to use. And I always look at my roster and think, what do I want to use today? That's usually how it goes. But some things to always keep in mind is I like to build around 2 characters and then a third that works with those other 2.
Let me narrow it down for everyone since I have the simplest strategy because I don't like to plan or think. So I have very clear favorites that people know. I don't keep this secret. I plan to pull those favorites no matter what, and then I plan a team around that. So, for example, Ject EX, 100% I am ready to pity, saving gems for it and everything. And I know I always do my research on the JP side. He doesn't last too long, but I want it. I love Ject. I like the concept of his kit, so I'm pulling on Ject. Ject's whole rework, a little early spoiler, is it revolves all around him getting a fat iBrave based regen on himself, so that potentially he can always trigger his plus attacks if he regens enough Brave at the start of the turn. So I pulled Lenna basically just for Ject because Lenna gives even more Brave regen and increases iBrave as well. So I pick one character I want to work around. For me, that's Ject. Then I picked Lenna because of it. And if I didn't like Ject so much, I might have possibly even skipped Lenna. And then for my third teammate, I am thinking about anyone who benefits off of iBrave in the meantime. So for now, I already have Cloud EX. I'll take him along. I wanted Firion. I think Firion would have been a better pick, but I'm not pulling for it. I'll take Cloud. Cloud will get replaced by Renoa, maybe, who also has an iBrave regen, who might eventually get replaced by Vayne. That is my plan for the next month. Opposite of Aarolei, I go with a team concept that I think is going to be fun. If a fight demands it, I'll adjust after I fail with my initial team. But so I'm picking milestones of characters. So for example, after Ject, I'm thinking the next character I really want is far off. I don't know. Zach, maybe, who also benefits in the same team with iBrave and heals. Or even after that, Sabin, which I'll come around to at the time. But that's how I plan my teams. And I think it's pretty simplistic. If Aarolei, you want to add on to yours or anything else?
Like I said, I usually build around the idea of 2 characters, and a third I think complements them well for whatever reason. I do have standard teams I use for clearing content, but sometimes I get bored after I do that, and then I'll play around and see what other crazy stuff I can make work.
I will say that as far as team building goes for me, and I'm definitely not the best at completing content. I think I have the lowest track record out of everyone on this podcast right now. But I usually have a team that I start with, one that I've been using for recent content as I come across a new fight. And first thing I'll do once I have that team started is look at what the boss does, as Aarolei said, figure out if that team will have problems or complications. For example, there was a period where I was running Garnet, Beatrix, and I think Selfie, or a third that usually shuffled in and out depending on the encounter. And if I see, for example, well, this boss is thunder resistant, this team's not going to work great, then I'll shuffle around. If I see that I can take advantage of the team strengths, I'll stick with it, and usually try to slot in a third like Aarolei to deal with a specific mechanic for that boss. So, for example, with Lenna Lost Chapter fights, I knew I was carrying Lenna because I had to for the fights anyways, just to get the completion scores. I also decided to bring along Kefka because I needed to complete the Chocobo mission panels, and also because I knew his HP Silas would be amazing for shutting down those dragons. So that's how I typically go about it. I just have 1 or 2 characters I know I'm going to use, and then pick another 1 to 2 characters based on the fight itself and what I need to do.
Very
Mark,
good.
you're the high scorer of this group. What's your insight?
Yeah, so I am, remarkably good at this game. So my strategy is just bringing the 3 best characters, and then you get the best score, and then you go about your life. No, that's not
Makes
100% true. Sometimes that is literally what you do. But my general strategy is, when I'm building a team, is to create a team with 1 support, 1 DPS, and 1 utility character. Now, the utility character is the one that's most likely to change depending on the boss. Sometimes I go to elemental weaknesses, sometimes not. It really doesn't matter. I do like building elemental teams. For example, I have a decent holy team. So there's a few holy teams, a few holy character, DPS, Sabin, Preesh, and Kefka right now, I believe, kind of your holy DPS. But Aiko is a great support character with holy damage. Paladin Cecil is a great utility character. Yeah, he does support, he does DPS. He's just kind of in the middle. He's kind of a jack of all trades, therefore kind of put him as a utility character. And then Kefka's a great DPS. So, or not Kefka, Kuja. Sorry, thank you, Slide. Kuja is holy damage. So those characters, of course, with Paladin Cecil's Holy Imperil, really, really do synergize well together, and there are other teams that are going to do that as well. I also look at what characters buff themselves, how powerful those buffs are when I'm trying to find a support character that goes with them. Sometimes, if I've done the mission a few times, I go in and kind of see, okay, hey, I don't really need a debuffer. I don't really need Dispel. I don't really need anything gimmicky. I just need DPS, so I'll bring 2 or 3 DPS characters to try to get the highest score possible. Or, hey, let's try launch, or hey, let's try these other things. So, but generally speaking, kind of when I'm going in blind to a run, I want to try to get a support, a DPS, and utility character on the team, just to kind of feel it out and go from there. So that's my general strategy. Any other team building strategy ideas out there?
Actually, I do have one.
Ooh.
I like really content agnostic characters. This is why characters like Bart, Quistis, and now Firion and Cloud are going to be very, very popular for probably the next couple of months. Easy. But maybe Bart's will fall off. I don't know. But the thing is, you want to make sure you are pulling for these jacks of all trades. It's weird, but Dissidia Opera Omnia super favors jacks of all trades kind of characters a lot.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's, especially if you partner them well together, there's lots of different things you can do, especially if you're not quite sure what you're facing.
I definitely agree with that. I went in with a heavy elemental team for like 2.5 months after I got Beatrix and Garnet.
Yeah.
And when that team stopped working, I hit a wall. I think if you recall a couple months ago when Deuce EX dropped and then Agrius event dropped, I was struggling because my characters just were not sufficient to deal with it. And because my elemental team design no longer was up to snuff. It could no longer deal with what those fights were throwing at me, and that really held me back for a while.
Yeah.
I might. I was gonna disagree, but I think I might be looking too far ahead in the future because I know that where JP is at, it's all heretics, 100% heretics. As in, your characters are getting locked out constantly. They have a 9-stage heretics right now. 9 stages. I think that's more than anything GL's ever gotten, and it's possibly going to build to more. And the whole point is having specialized teams, like Mark said, having an elemental team and the jack of all. A little drunk here. Jack of all.
Trades.
Priest, help me.
Trades.
There we
Jack of
go.
all trades.
Jack of all trades. Thank you. Are suffering a bit in these compositions. So I'm actually looking to build around a concept, like I said, the whole I Brave regen thing. So, and I mean, I think you guys are right that for a while it will be good. But I'm saying, like, look at Onion Knight. He's supposed to be a jack of all trades. He's not going to hold up very long. And I don't think we have an example of another jack of all trades who can hold up long, unless you're talking about Future Warrior of Light, who just does everything better than everybody. But, you know, other than that, I would actually say have 2 or 3 teams that specialize really hard in something. Like, have a very DPS focused team, or a very burst heavy team, or a very or an elemental team, as Mark said, or a launch team. But I don't know about stacking up on jack of all trades.
Oh no, I'm not saying to do that. I mean, of course, but as always, this game has favored a large roster, and even going into the far-flung chaos and EX plus arena, I guess, you're still gonna need that. And as we're seeing, they're starting to finally bring us really good elemental users, which was something we were kind of lacking. I felt like for a while on the JP side.
Harrieth is asking, are you referring to Far Ends of the Dimension? Yes, I am, and that's probably going to have a different name when it comes to GL, but basically, right, they're building lots of heretic towers. Right now, the current one is at 9 stages, and they said there's going to be a new tower soon. So, like, it'll reset so you can use characters again, but it'll also go up to 9 stages. And basically, I think the name of the game is having multiple teams in JP, which is what I'm preparing for.
Yeah, well, we congratulate Heiru for pulling on their free pull both Firion and Cloud EX. Congratulations. Harith is also asking, where should I farm Gallicats? It's like Gallic, right? Gallicats? They're those cats
so.
with the
I
wings.
want to say they were maybe in chapter 9, story chapter 9 stages, but I don't remember exactly.
I do not know off the top of my head. I believe they're in one of the crystal quests. You may see them in Renoa's event here coming up. Because the current events are all mankins, you're not going to get anything there. And I don't know if the perfectums, if there's any in the perfectums, all my perfectums are locked out at the moment. Yeah, there are Gallicats in Lenna LC. I was pretty sure. Thank you, Wadabu. There are Gallicats in Lenna LC. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I just saw them. So, yeah. So that's where you can go. Anything else on team building?
I think that's all I wanted to cover.
That sounds good. So, looking ahead as we wrap up our time tonight, we don't know. Tonight we have summer festivals. We're going to have Summer Chasm 2, Catalyst, Rising, and Pitch. So we won't be able to talk about that tonight. You're going to have all the Mankin, Heretics, and Battles come on our Discord and talk about what you're doing. We have a strategy thread, and you can talk about, hey, I need help, or hey, what are you doing? Of course, Macnol will have a call to arms, so check out the call to arms, MACNOL, and learn more about that as well. We believe that Renoa's character event is incoming, but when will that be? Probably not this Sunday. Do we have an announcement for our next Square Enix Twitch stream? mobile
Not
stream?
yet. I suspect we'll get an announcement in the next day or two if they're going to try to do one next week.
Yeah, it
And
would
we'll
generally
probably get
be
Renoa's character event midweek.
it would probably be next Tuesday that we would get a mobile stream, which would be the 25th here in the United States, and then perhaps Renoa on the 27th, or even until the 30th. But if we don't have any event from the 20th to the 30th, that's a long time without any events, even though right now there is a lot to do. But 10 days with no events seems like quite some time. So,
I think
oh,
there'll
Monday.
definitely.
Tasumi is saying Joshua said 99% in Malsalento's stream this morning, Monday. So the Square Enix mobile stream should be Monday. We will see perhaps Wednesday night we will get Renoa event. I do not know. So yes, so Square Enix mobile stream hopefully should be Monday. Joshua was with us here tonight. Didn't say anything about it, but
Wow, what a call out! But I was gonna say, yeah, no, I expect it to because I think they learned their lesson. Last month we had very weird gaps in content. This month I thought it was paced perfectly. As we talked about before, it was maximum 5 days between content updates, which I thought was pretty good. And I think after they learned their lesson and went to this schedule, there's no way they're going to give us a dead week again. So I predicted next week the stream for sure. And if it is Monday, we'll get a Tuesday update if they're following the schedule. And they usually update the day after stream. And then we'll probably see Renoa very soon and get the rest of the month. And I'm really, really hoping everyone's been talking that VVEX comes with the first Cosmos, and we will see definitively by then if we're getting those A-Doja reworks. But that is just a theory.
all right. Well, look forward to a mobile stream. Look forward to a new event. Now, I am going to be unable to stream. I have to be careful what I say here. I'm going to be unable to stream next week, so there is some uncertainty whether we will have a stream or not next week, a podcast or not next week. But just stay tuned, join our Discord, and I will give you all the links to catch up on everything we do. If you want to get in touch with us, the best way is to go to our website, www.tccpodcast.com. That is TCC for The Crystal Chronicles. www.tccpodcast.com. You can find all of the links there, including all of our episodes for download from there or streaming from there. Of course, you can listen to any of our podcasts on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, etc. But you can also download and listen right from our website. We pay for that service, so you can do that. You can check us out on Facebook, FFTCC Podcast, on Twitter at FFTCC Podcast, and I take care of all of that, and you try to announce when we're doing things and how to get in contact with us. Of course, if you are listening to our podcast, we try to stream on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. That is 1 a.m. UTC the next day. Fridays. So you can join us live on Twitch. We try to interact with you. We're on a little bit before and a little bit after the podcast. So there's some bonus material, and we are The Crystal Chronicles on Twitch. On YouTube, you can search The Crystal Chronicles if that is your preferred method of watching us. I tried to add a little bit more to our static screen and, of course, my webcam. But we don't usually run the game while we are podcasting. Sometimes afterwards we do. And you can join our Discord. Please come. It's a growing community. We just have a lot of fun, and a lot of good people, a lot of great content creators are at the TCC Discord. And so if you are interested in joining there, please enjoy that opportunity and connect with us during the week. All of the hosts, myself, Mino Kreese, and Aarolei, and Macnol, and Quetz, and many, many other people, including everyone who's on stream here tonight and talking at least, is part of our Discord. And so there's a lot of good interactions and a lot of good people to talk to as well. So, Aarolei, thank you. Now, last time you were on, I did not give you the opportunity, and I apologize, to share how can we get in contact with you, because you are a content creator and you do put out content. So if I wanted to watch your content, how would I go about doing that?
Sure. I am actually Lilee on YouTube, which is spelled Leilee. You can also contact me in the Discord channel. You can just at me at Aarolei, or I guess you can check out. Nope, I don't got anything else. I have websites and stuff, but that's more for personal things. So now you don't need that.
Yes, yeah. Please don't give us anything that we don't need. But thank you if you do. Aarolei does tons of runs and fun team comps, so check out her YouTube or just see what she's doing. She generally shares that in our strategy as well on our Discord, and that is Aarolei on Discord as well. Well, yes, Macnell is saying on Twitch we accept all kinds of people, also weebs. Lots of weebs on Discord. Sorry to say, Mino, I did finish the Series 6 of the Great British Bake Off, and the weeb girl did not win. She made it to the finals. She did not win. So, you'll have to find a new bride somewhere else. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for joining us, everyone who's on Twitch. If you're listening during the week or watching later on Twitch, watching on YouTube, thank you for checking us out. We appreciate all of our community, and we do this because we love this game. We love all of you. So enjoy this abundance of content. Good luck to all of you. For myself, Mark, Mino Spellgood, Kreese, a.k.a. Serink, and Aarolei, we wish you all the best of luck, good pulls, and good health. Until next time, goodbye.